I want you to go and look in the mirror. It's okay, I'll wait. I want you to go look in the mirror. Go look in the mirror. Don't play about her. Okay? Don't play about her. I am Bliss. You're in the land of bliss. Welcome to my channel. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Okay? If you love it here, if you want to level up your dating life, your relationship, your femininity, and just be your best self, okay? Because women, we make the world go round. So we have to be on it, okay? And I help you do that, all right? Today I'm coming to you with a slightly different type of video, a little breakaway from the norm, okay? We're going to be discussing this book. It's called Who's Watching Shorty? It's by Reshona Landfair. And I don't know if you're reading it too. Please let me know in the comments. She was the young girl who was in the infamous R. Kelly tape. Okay, so we'll be discussing this book and extracting some lessons from it. And I'm going to be reading some passages, honey, that just threw me to the floor. Okay, so stick around. It's a vibe over here. Okay. What really drew me into wanting to make this series, well, I'm making a series if you guys are enjoying it, but what really made me want to make this video is all of the conversation online about this woman, especially when she announced the book. A lot of people were saying that, oh, she's just doing it for the money, and oh, why is she saying something now, and oh, she wanted it, and just a whole lot of victim blaming. That right there is the reason why so many women don't come forward with their story, because they usually get blamed for it. They usually get blamed for it. Society just doesn't allow little girls to be innocent, to be vulnerable, to be naive, to just not know. At 13, 14, and 15 years old, you're expected to fully know everything. Okay, so these girls get called fast and promiscuous. And that's just not the case. You're not about to talk to me about a neglected child, because that's what she was, a neglected child. You're not about to talk to me about a neglected child and call her fast, because that child wasn't being protected. She wasn't being protected. And when you don't protect a child, they become vulnerable to outside influences. Okay, she wasn't being taught that she was precious and special, and that you don't allow everybody access to your body and your mind and your emotions. Okay, she wasn't being taught that. Okay, she wasn't being taught that her value isn't in the attention of men. She wasn't being taught that. Okay, so when she got that attention, she was flooded with all of these emotions that she had never felt before. But nobody talks about all of the grooming and the manipulation and the gaslighting and the lies and the brainwashing that goes on for years, sometimes years, to even get the little girl to do these things. They groom these little girls for years sometimes before they make a move. How was she so fast then? How is she fast? They get up here first. It takes to get up here first. Girls and women are emotional. It's almost never about that physical relationship. It's usually about the emotional relationship. Okay, so you are not about to blame a child for a full grown adult taking advantage of them. Okay, we're just not doing that. We're just not doing that. Okay, for the people who are saying that she just wants money, everybody else made money off of her story. Why is she talking about it now? It's her story. She can talk about it whenever she wants to. Okay? She's the one who went through it. Okay? I mean, the guilt and the shame that women are forced to carry is just crazy. It's crazy. And the people saying it are no better than the people who were around her who didn't protect her either. We got to do better. We got to do better. Okay? So anyway, so when Reshona released the book, R. Kelly's lawyer released a statement that said, in part, neither Mr. Kelly nor his legal counsel have been provided with advance copy of Miss Landfair's memoir. It is therefore impossible to comment on any specific allegation, nor does Mr. Kelly wish to engage in any kind of refutation that would in any way limit the financial success of Miss Landfair's memoir. The statement continued to claim that Kelly wishes her success and peace at all levels. Honey, aka he don't want no more smoke, okay? Let her make the money, and he don't want to open another can of worms for himself, okay? Anyway, that back here what he talking about. So I'm reading the book. I'm on chapter 6. The book has 15 chapters, so I'm a little less than halfway through it. The adults in her life really failed Reshona Landfair. They really did. So the first thing is be careful who is influencing you or your child, your niece, your nephew, your little cousin, honey, your little sister. Be careful who's influencing you or your family members because you're not above influence. Okay, we are human beings. Because Reshona Landfair's auntie Sparkle, honey, was terrible. Terrible, honey. She was having all of this inappropriate conversation with Reshona when she was like 11 and 12 years old, talking to her about her boyfriends and how she had to keep her private areas and how Reshona was going to have to keep her private areas like that one day. And it's like, what can this 12-year-old, 11, 12-year-old little girl do with this information? Like, what are you doing? Okay, just a display of poor boundaries on her part. When you display poor boundaries around a child, they don't learn what's appropriate and what's inappropriate. Okay, she's talking to this girl like she's her age. I mean, disgusting. Another thing is the Aunt Sparkle is the one who introduced R. Kelly to the family. And because of course she was on his record label and everything. So R. Kelly integrated into their family. He started going to their church and I think he, gave his life to God or whatever. And the grandfather of Reshona, the grandfather and grandmother, so her dad's mom and dad was the pastor and the first lady of that church, and one of the deacons was her mom's brother. So he's integrating and stuff into the family, and he would take them out to eat, and he was always sort of around, and he would go to Reshona Landfair's games, and because she would have basketball games, and he would go see her group perform because she had a little rap group that she was a part of when she was like 9 and 10 years old. So he integrated himself into the family, and he ended up hiring the dad to play guitar for his studio sessions. And so Sparkle, the aunt, she tells Reshona Landfair to, sit on his lap and ask him, rub his head and ask him to be your godfather. as if she didn't know what would come of that. Like, what? Girl. So she does it, and he says yes, and so Reshona Landfair is spending all this extra time with R. Kelly. Now when she would be at the studio, she would either be there with her aunt Sparkle, or she would be there with her dad. Reshona Landfair ended up telling R. Kelly on her aunt, because R. Kelly and the aunt Sparkle had a relationship, right? And Aunt Sparkle, with her inappropriate conversations with her niece, told her that she had a boyfriend. Don't tell R. Kelly, right? So she ended up telling R. Kelly, and R. Kelly drops her from the label. So that was the end of her career. She had a couple of platinum selling albums and everything going great, and drops her. Career gone. And so she wasn't around the studio as much. So that afforded them all of this alone time together. This girl had a phone. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm a millennial. I mean, we got our own phone lines and stuff like that in the house. But this girl is 10, 11, 12 years old with her own phone in her room. I don't think so. I don't think so, honey. But yeah, so they started having these secret phone calls, and you know what he was doing on the other end of the phone, and you know having all this inappropriate conversation and telling her to do stuff to herself and stuff like that. Ridiculous, honey, because we didn't get our own phone at that age, honey. Your mama would pick up the phone and ruin your whole conversation. That was good. Whatever was happening, baby, it was gonna be over real quick. Another thing is like spending all this alone time. Like, you have to be so careful about who you're spending time with. You have to be careful about who your children, your little sister, your niece or nephew, your family is spending time with, because when we spend time as humans, this is human nature. When we spend so much time with a person, we begin to like them. Okay, especially as women. Okay, we start to like them, and it's just human nature in general. But again, us women, girls, and women, we are emotional. So, yeah, you start spending so much time with a person, you start to like them. And when you start liking them, you start to trust them. Okay, so you want to be careful. If you're not sure about a person, you haven't vetted that person, you're still getting to know that person or your family member, don't spend a lot of time with them, okay? Because you're naturally going to start to have a crush and start to like them. You don't even have to be super attracted to them at all. That's just something that naturally happens. So you want to be so careful with that. Another lesson would be, a lot of women and girls fall into traps because they think some things are things when they're just not a thing. For example, Reshona Landfair has started to think that she was in competition with her Aunt Sparkle for R. Kelly, right? Because our Aunt Sparkle would come and tell her, oh, he bought me this gift, da 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 da. She started to feel like she was in competition, and that's just not a thing. Like, you can't win a man over. You can't win a man from another woman. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. Because really, at that point, he's just playing you both. He's just sitting back enjoying himself. He doesn't care whichever way you, her, whoever. Okay, you're just another girl. You're just another person. And he is this hypersexual person, and you think that you're going to satisfy him. Nobody can satisfy him. Okay. A lot of times men get passes for being hypersexual, and they really shouldn't. A lot of women give men grace around that sort of thing, but they really shouldn't, because he cannot be satisfied by you, by one woman. In this case, I mean, he's already married, he's having children with his wife, and he has all of these other girls, including his artists, I mean, they had that studio with all these secret rooms, and he had all these girls, and sometimes he would be with other girls in front of Reshona Landfair. And so she felt like she had to keep up and be the best girl. And he would tell her, "Oh, you're my best one." Like, what? Like, that's not, like, that is not a compliment. So many women sort of accept that sort of behavior from men, like, "Oh, I'm the main girl. I'm the," it's really how a lot of women get into these sort of situations, like with the Nick Cannons and all these guys having all these babies all over the place because they feel like they're gonna be special, like, "Oh, I'm gonna be the one," and it's like that's not a thing. I think that's also why she sort of snitched on her aunt by telling that. Well, she the book doesn't read that way, but I'm like, yeah, that's probably why you told, because you was trying to get rid of her. There's no such thing as that. He may make it seem like a thing. It's manipulation. So yeah, a lot of women and girls fall prey to that sort of thinking. And so yeah, and the daddy, honey, the daddy was trash. I mean, he had two jobs, provide and protect, honey. He really failed his daughter. And it's so sad. He turned a blind eye to the whole entire thing. He knew about it, but he just didn't say anything because he was broke. He was broke. That's why you cannot be in a relationship with a broke man. I don't care. I don't care. If you can't provide, you certainly can't protect. When Kelly came around, the family considered themselves blessed. R. Kelly was how they were eating, because they were not a very well off family at all. So when the daddy got hired to be the guitar player, I mean, that's how they were eating. So they just said, "Hey, this is good. We're not rocking the boat on this." And it's just so sad. He knew about R. Kelly's reputation because he had a reputation out there in those streets of Chicago. Okay, not just as R. Kelly the superstar, he had a reputation in the streets that they knew about, okay, for having relationships with young girls. Okay, they knew about Aaliyah. He knew about that too. He knew about Aaliyah. He looked the other way, right? But let his young daughter spend all this alone time with him. Coward. I'm gonna talk about the mama in a minute, but the daddy knew. And he knew because one day at their Bible study, he blurted out this bogus prayer. What is his prayer for? Like, I'm gonna read y'all. Let me read y'all, honey, because this made me so mad. It's gonna make you so mad, honey. Honey, this is gonna make you mad. They're at the Bible study, and this is the prayer that the daddy prays. He goes, "Father God, we come against every spirit of perversion and deception that is claiming this modern age. By the power of the Holy Spirit, I rebuke them in the name of Jesus. We rebuke the head of the enemy on our son and especially our daughter. Lord, we lay every sin and sexual immorality of coveting and lying at your feet, dear Jesus." So you're admitting that like, what are you doing, sir? Like, this is stupid. Like, what are you doing? You're this girl's whole daddy, and you know what's going on. What are you praying for? You think you're gonna scare the pain out of her? Like, what is the point of this prayer? You're the one who needs to know. You're the one who could do something about it. What are you doing? What is this prayer for? Just so bogus, like sad and disgusting. Because he's broke. He's broke. That is why, because he was scared to rock the boat. R. Kelly's his boss at this point, right? He's scared. He's like, just he's just gonna pray this stupid prayer. Okay, he's not protecting his daughter. She's getting in over her head because R. Kelly is continuing to escalate the situation. I mean, it started with the phone calls and the inappropriate conversation over the phone, and then he's like, okay, we'll do this, okay, we'll do that, okay, well, and it's just escalating, and she's scared. She doesn't want to do it, but he is controlling her, had her brainwashed, had her mind gone, and she needs somebody to step in. Okay, she's this little girl and dealing with this grown man. She's scared and she wanted her daddy to step in, and it was just so sad. Let me read you this. It was so sad. She said, she says, I read it from the book. She says, for as exposed as I felt by your prayer that day, Dad, I wish that version of you, full of holy boldness and speaking truth to power, would have shown up like that more often. I wish you had taken up more space and crowded out Robert's authority over me, asserting that our family's rules still apply to me even when I was in his space. I wish you had insisted that you enter Robert's environment, meet his wife and child, and see where I would sleep during sleepovers. Now that's a shame. You see, this is just, you didn't even know, you had never even been to this man's house, but you let your daughter spend the night somewhere. You don't even know. That would even be the reason. I don't know if y'all parents let y'all spend the night over people's houses, but honey, no, that would be the reason why they would say no. It would be because they don't know them. They would say, no, I never met them. I've never been to their house. I don't know that person. I don't know their family. I don't know what they do over there. Right? That would be the reason why you couldn't spend the night. And he's just letting it happen like it's nothing. It's so sad. She says, I wish your intuition had kicked in when I seemed uncomfortable and would refuse to speak or even acknowledge any man who was not you or Robert. Because R. Kelly had her like, he told her she couldn't speak to any man that wasn't her dad or him. She had to, kind of shy away, not look them in the eye, and just ridiculous. Sad. I wish you had been, she says, I wish you had been suspicious enough to catch Robert in the act of making sneaky sexual gestures toward me while I fidgeted, unable to respond, afraid someone might see. I wish you had noticed the confusion that lurked behind my smiles, the distress that creased my forehead, and my uncharacteristic silence. Dad, I never doubted your love for me. I just wish that your love could have pushed past your fear and fought for me. Sad. Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking, honey. Heartbreaking. Broke. You can't even fight for your daughter because you broke. You're scared you're going to lose your job. Just sad. Reshona Landfair even said that pretty much on his deathbed in 2021 that he admitted that he was willfully ignorant. Willfully ignorant is like when you know something but you don't investigate it. You don't get to the truth of it and really get the confirmation, but you know it. You just choose to look the other way. He admitted it. Absolute trash. So sad. What a coward. What a coward. What a coward. And then the mom was so better, honey. The mom, when everything came out with the Aunt Sparkle and that she had a boyfriend, R. Kelly dropped her from his label. The aunt was mad at her sister and the rest of the family that they still were in connection with R. Kelly and they didn't cut ties with him. Honey, they didn't even cut ties with him when they knew he was messing with their daughter. So, I mean, honey, you really didn't have nothing coming. And when everything started coming out, because it took the Aunt Sparkle to call DCFS, the Division of Child and Family Safety, for anybody to say anything. Ridiculous, right? And so when everything sort of started blowing up and coming out, they blamed the aunt. Oh, you called DCFS and oh, you're gonna get us in trouble. What? So there's your response. Never did they never did they get upset enough to go to R. Kelly, right? The man with the money, right? Never did they get upset enough to go and confront R. Kelly. It was all, the Sparkle's gonna get us, and she gonna call DCFS. She gonna get us in trouble. Cause see, that was the reason why Reshona Landfair did not come forward. Part of it, of course, R. Kelly was brainwashing her, and of course, she was trying to protect him. But also, if she would have come forward, she would have implicated her parents. They would have got a child neglect charge because they were not keeping an eye on her. They was just letting her spend all kind of time with this full grown man. Honey, a mess, a mess, a mess. They all chose to blame the aunt. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. It makes you think, like, would the aunt Sparkle still have called DCFS if her career was still thriving? Because it's like she's the one initially who told Reshona Landfair, oh, sit on his lap and rub his head and da. She had to know what that would lead to, right? And it's like, why did she call DCFS just out of nowhere? This little girl did not stand a chance in this family, honey. They were all keeping their mouth shut because of the money. Because of the money. Because of the money. Okay. So like I said, I'm a little bit less than halfway through. So I'm gonna continue to read Who's Watching Shorty by Reshona Landfair. And yeah, it's a very interesting book. And I think that many women can probably relate to, unfortunately. So if you are reading the book, let me know, what are your insights. Also, let me know, what is one of your boundaries that you have that keeps you safe. I want you to give me an emotional or a physical boundary. An emotional boundary would be, I don't allow what a man tells me to carry any weight with me. So I'm not influenced by what a man says to me until he has proven it over and over again over time. That's an emotional boundary. An example of a physical boundary would be, I don't allow touches from crushes. So if you have a crush on me and we're around each other a lot and stuff, I don't allow that crush to start to touch and be physical with me. So I don't allow touches from crushes. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want part 2. I will see you then. Bye.